This is the story of Catherine Svilicic. She recently adopted a dog which had such a kind nature and was very loving. Strangely though, the little doggy would soon become attached to her new baby. This bond led to both the baby and dog becoming local stars and headline catchers in their community, and ended up saving each other in the process, and we mean that both figuratively and literally. The only concern about the newly adopted Doberman was that he was a rescue puppy, so he might have had a traumatic past that Catherine did not know about. Yet she still decided to adopt the new furry friend to add to her family. She wanted her baby and the dog to become friends. Did she need to worry about leaving them alone together? All dogs like to play and even occasionally chew on their owner's hands or arms in an innocent manner. However, there are specific breeds such as Dobermans or Pit Bulls who, from past experiences, can be a genuine threat to human safety. Shortly after Catherine had given birth to her baby Charlotte, she wanted her newborn to grow up with a companion by her side. So when they went to adopt a dog, they chose the one that nobody wanted because she wanted to show it love. She had been informed that Khan had gone through a lot already in his life. Catherine had no problem bringing Khan home and introducing the new addition to Charlotte, who was now 17 months old. Catherine knew that adoption was a risk. No one could guarantee that he was safe, especially after his past. The amazing thing is that Khan was going to be put down just a week before Catherine adopted him. He just survived after a twist of fate. Even though the Svilicics were responsible for saving his life, Khan's behavior was out of their control. All the foundations he learned from being a puppy were elsewhere, and they had no idea of his past. Only 4 days after he was adopted, Khan was playing with little Charlotte in the Svilicics' garden. So far, there was nothing for the family to worry about. Catherine was concerned as to how the pair would interact. Charlotte and Khan spent a long time running around in the grass happily together, neither making too much noise. But suddenly, from nowhere, Khan went crazy, took the child, and tossed her across the grass. Charlotte flew a yard away and slammed her back on the ground. Catherine stood there, mouth open and shocked. She was perplexed as to what could have triggered Khan to act this way. She knew that Charlotte couldn't have done anything to provoke the dog. Maybe what people told her was right, and that he couldn't be trusted. Perhaps some trigger from his past made him act this way. For some bizarre reason, Khan considered the toddler as a threat. He didn't seem to care that Catherine was watching the entire incident from the kitchen window. She desperately hoped that after pushing her across the grass, that would be the end of it. But unfortunately, Catherine would need to intervene, as it was just the beginning. The events that followed were both traumatic and scary for Catherine and Charlotte. At first, Khan was softly pushing the toddler around, almost as if he was trying to provoke her. Charlotte was oblivious at first to the hound's actions and continued walking around the garden as if nothing happened. Then, in a fit of rage that she wasn't complying to his game, he clamped onto the toddler's diaper with his teeth and started to viciously toss her around the grass like she was a rag doll, claimed Charlotte. Charlotte didn't cry, but she was very distressed and even shell-shocked. "Had I not seen it with my very own eyes, I'd never have believed it," said Catherine. She rushed over to attend to her poor baby girl, who was in a state of bewilderment. Then all of a sudden, before Charlotte could even get a grip of the situation, Khan barked frantically and fell to the ground. The entire family was completely confused as to what was going on. Catherine rushed over to the scene to find Charlotte completely fine. She checked her daughter to find her fine, healthy, and untouched. She couldn't believe it. However, something was terribly wrong with Khan as he lay lifeless on the ground. Catherine had no idea what happened but began to panic. Catherine then put 2 and 2 together and realized that Khan was actually trying to protect Charlotte, but his heroic act left him severely injured. Time was running out. He was gasping and whimpering, and Charlotte knew she had to get help immediately. Khan had a large wound in his body that needed attention. He was in a terrible state and looked as though he could die. It appeared that he had been poisoned by something. Khan was bitten by something so dangerous that the bite could cause instant paralysis to even the strongest of animals. Khan was otherwise strong, but he was no match against the poison. He collapsed to the ground and was unable to move. He was rapidly losing the ability to breathe. Catherine realized what had happened and knew that she had to move quickly to save her baby's hero. Catherine immediately ordered all of her family to go into the house. Next, she attended to Con to inspect the damage. What she saw was absolutely heartbreaking. There was her dog, with his tongue hanging out of his mouth, laying motionless. Despite already looking dead, Catherine had faith and wouldn't give up on her new baby boy. Without hesitation, Catherine picked up Con and hastily carried him to the car. She hurled the lifeless body into the backseat and drove like a maniac to the vet. She had no idea what to expect or what the outcome would be. She just knew she had to get there as soon as she could. As Catherine sped through streets to get Con treatment, she looked over at her dog and cried in awe of his sheer bravery. To think that she ever doubted him and his love for baby Charlotte. "I never knew I was able to drive this well. I guess adrenaline does its thing," she said. As soon as they arrived at the vet, she rushed frantically out of the car, picking up the lifeless dog and putting him in her arms. She ran over to the clinic, screaming for help. Thankfully for Con, doctors and nurses came from every direction and lay him on a mobile bed. The vets took a look at the injury and detected venom. The venom is what made him fall to the ground. This venom is so poisonous that he was really on the brink of death. Imagine if he had not flung the baby out of the way in protection, what the outcome could have been. It was at that moment that Catherine felt indebted to this dog who had been so selfless when her daughter was under threat. Catherine couldn't rest until she knew what the vet was going to do to help. As the nurses moved Con into the emergency, a dreaded sense of hopelessness fell over Catherine. Catherine prayed that he would be OK and survive. Just 30 minutes after he was sent to the emergency room, the doctor who attended to Con returned to the room to speak with Catherine. She ran up to the doctor, asking many questions and desperate for all the answers. Was Con going to be OK? Dogs are not just pets. They are family, and after he rescued her daughter, she couldn't imagine not having him around. The truth was that the doctor didn't know if Con would pull through or not. "We don't know yet, madam. We did what we could, but now his body has to fight the poison," he said. "The anti-venom will certainly help, but we don't know to what extent. It's best that you come back tomorrow morning." It wasn't exactly what Catherine wanted to hear, but at least he is alive, she thought. So many emotions were running through Catherine's head that night, and she couldn't get to sleep no matter how hard she tried. She kept looking down at her baby and guilt flooded her body. She felt a great sense of relief and gratitude as well, but still she lay there, thinking about Con, and if he was all alone in the vets at night. Finally, what felt like one of the longest nights of her life had finally passed. The morning had arrived, and after receiving little sleep, she rushed to the vet as soon as it opened. Catherine arrived and luckily was the first person in the waiting room. She was extremely worried, and her mind was in overdrive, so she inquired at the office of the vet who attended to Con to see if they had the results. The time had finally arrived to find out the answer. Before finding out if Con would survive, Catherine found out what almost killed her poor baby and her new dog in the first place. Catherine discovered that there was a dangerous animal that was living in her garden, and she had no idea that it was even there. Without Con, Catherine and her baby could have been in the emergency room instead. The dangerous animal that almost killed Con could have also paralyzed Catherine and Charlotte. Catherine discovered what almost killed her family. The truth became clear. Con was not trying to attack Charlotte. In fact, quite the opposite. He was desperately trying to save her life. It turns out that she was close to a mulga, an incredibly venomous snake, and one of Australia's most dangerous creatures. Con saw one of his trusted companions in danger and simply wanted to help. If there's anything that Australia is renowned for, it's the abnormally diverse range of deadly creatures, including snakes. The mulga is a prime example of just how lethal Australian wildlife can be. Within minutes, the snake can kill a fully grown human being with just one bite. This means that Charlotte wouldn't have stood a chance against the slithering serpent if it wasn't for man's best friend. Con leaped to her defense and shielded her from death, but suffered a lethal bite as a result. Con stayed on his guard as he scared the mulga away. He was a loving dog that wanted to be a part of the family, and he would have done anything for any of them, regardless of his past traumas. The brave Doberman was now known as the family hero, but could it be too late? It was unclear whether Con would survive. He had risked his life to save a baby that he hardly knew and tossed her across the yard to safety in a split moment. He was bitten by one of the deadliest venoms in the world. The Svilicic family has completely torn apart, and Con appeared to be completely helpless. They didn't know whether to prepare for his homecoming or to bury him. Catherine knew she could never fully repay Con for the kindness he showed her daughter. She told Daily Mail he saved her life by risking his own. She continued, "From now on, he's Con the Wonder Dog." As Catherine waited to find out the fate of her beloved animal, she was heartbroken. Pet owners will know that helpless feeling when all you want to do is be there for your beloved animal and you can't protect them. All she wanted was to take Con home so he could be part of her family again. She knew the veterinarians were doing their best to revive Con. They gave him a shot of anti-venom in the hopes that Con would be able to fight the poison and regain his strength. Before Con was rescued, he was severely neglected. Catherine told Courier Mail. When Carrie Kinder, Doberinling boarding kennels owner, rescued him, he was starving, had broken ribs, and had been beaten. He was an abused dog. When the family first decided to take Con in, they weren't sure how he would do. Catherine continued. It was borderline on whether or not he should be put down because he was in such a bad way. Now it was fully clear to Catherine why Con had risked his life for her baby girl. Catherine told Courier Mail he was starving for attention and wanted to be loved because he came from an abused home. So I'm not surprised about what he has done at his new home. But now, Catherine needed to know if she could ever bring Con back home. She decided she couldn't wait any longer and dialed the vet's office. Catherine called the vet to find out the situation and needed answers. All she wanted was to take the once neglected dog back home to her family. She wanted to give him a good life full of love and companionship. When Catherine finally reached the veterinarian, Con's doctor informed Catherine that Con had been very sick all night and was in a very bad state. According to the vet, Con would be OK and was slowly getting better. He was still very weak, but there was no longer any risk of total paralysis as a result of the snake's venom. Catherine breathed her first sigh of relief in a long time. The anti-venom did its job. But wait, now Catherine needed to know if Con would ever make a full recovery. Luckily, the vet believed that he would. According to snake expert on Adelaide, it seems that Con only survived the snake bite because the snake did not manage to inject a lot of venom into Con. If the snake had injected the full amount of venom, Con would probably not have survived. So where are Con and baby Charlotte today? After such an intense time and many unanswered questions, the vet told Charlotte that Con had recovered successfully and was on the mend. He was astounded at just how fast the dog had bounced back from the poison. Catherine was ecstatic after hearing the news and couldn't wait to be reunited with her hero. He was a fighter and fought through to see his family again. Now the whole family could be reunited again. From now on, Catherine made sure to protect her family and protect Con. He was their hero forever. Con was so happy to see his family after leaving the vets and licked baby Charlotte's face in affection. This picture shows how Charlotte, all grown up, is still with her best friend by her side to this day.